So in this video, I want to follow up talking a little bit, sharing some of the content of my book, Healing Lyme with Chinese Medicine, Balancing Yin and Yang with Diet and Lifestyle. One of the things that I explained at the beginning of this book is how Chinese medicine views Lyme differently than Western medicine. And this begins with a seeming paradox, right? In Chinese medicine, we don't actually have a diagnostic category for Lyme, so to speak. Lyme is a biomedically defined disease. It is a disease that is defined through lab analysis, right? Through looking at the presence of a microscopic entity, a spiral-shaped bacteria called a spirochete. That is that type of diagnosis is not traditionally part of Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine, instead of focusing on the presence of microscopic entities, focuses on the macroscopic. It focuses on the whole health of the whole system, the whole body. And then, of course, it doesn't doubt the existence of microscopic entities. It just always tries to understand their presence in the context of how the whole system is functioning. So looking at these kind of global patterns, these global patterns of the whole system. And, of course, there are many positive things about modern germ theory, being able to look at bacteria, understanding what a spirochete is, knowing what a virus is. But from a Chinese medicine perspective, this emphasis on the microscopic sometimes blinds clinicians and patients alike to the importance of the whole system. We sometimes lose the forest for the trees, so to speak, or we try to treat a traffic jam by looking at the engine of a single car, right? And sometimes that is essentially what we're doing when we overly focus on these microscopic entities, right? And that is certainly the case with Lyme. Of course, it is useful to understand it is Lyme, to understand that it is caused by a spirochetal infection, but the fact of the matter is that Lyme is diverse. The patterns that constitute Lyme are different in different people, and they do have similarities, and the similarities are outlined in this book. They tend to follow a similar disease progression process, but it doesn't make sense from a Chinese medicine perspective to treat everyone with Lyme, with the Lyme spirochete, in the same way, because the way that microscopic entity interacts with the ecology of the whole body will be different for different individuals. And this is, I think, pretty obvious, pretty straightforward, right? If we think about it, 3 people will be infected with Lyme. 3 people will get a tick bite from a tick that carries Lyme, the Lyme pathogen. One of them may not get any symptoms, right? Or might get a kind of fluish symptoms, a high fever for a day or two, and then never symptoms again in their entire life. Another person may contract Lyme and have mild symptoms, mild aches and pains, maybe a little bit of fatigue, and that's it. And it may even recede for them slowly over time with relatively minimal intervention. The third person may contract Lyme and have severe neurological changes and be deeply debilitated for years and years of their life. It's the same way with any pathogen, right? We saw this very much with COVID, right? 3 people will get COVID, but they will have very different experiences, right? Depending on the robustness of their constitution, depending on other underlying health factors. This is certainly the case with Lyme. It depends on the unique individual ecology of the person, how that spirochete, that spirochetal infection, interacts with them, and whether or not it produces life-altering symptoms. So this is more the emphasis of Chinese medicine than just on killing the spirochete. Of course, we do have herbs that are very strong, that have strong antibiotic properties, that can kill bacteria, but that is not the main emphasis of Chinese herbal treatment. It's not the main emphasis of Chinese treatment. It's one of the emphases, but there are many others, such as keeping the system in balance as a whole. And for some people, this requires building them up, giving them more energy. For other people, it requires calming their system down because it's in fight or flight. There are various different patterns of imbalance that we need to address concurrently with simply clearing out the pathogen. And this is, I think, why a lot of people do not get the results they're looking for from Lyme treatment, is that there's a narrowly targeted strategy of just killing the microscopic entity, which of course might work for some people if they have a very robust constitution and there aren't other things going on, but for a lot of people won't work because it's not taking into account the global state of their bodies. So this is the emphasis of Chinese medicine. The emphasis is on it's not that we doubt the existence of the spirochete, it's just we are looking at the global pattern that the spirochete is a part of. And addressing that, we tend to get very, very good results. This is also why in Chinese medicine we focus a lot on other factors that influence health in the treatment of Lyme, including diet and lifestyle, the topic of this book, what's called Yangsheng, or nourishing life methods, Yangsheng Fa, nourishing life methods in Chinese. Because when we understand that there are more factors involved than simply killing off a microscopic entity, and that the kind of total global health of the body is implicated and important, then we have to look at all these other things. We have to look at sleep cycle, we have to look at diet, we have to look at exercise or lack thereof, we have to look at, even from a Chinese medicine perspective, because mind and body are understood to be integrally connected, we need to look at the state of the mind and the emotions, which is a huge piece of healing for many people with chronic disease. So that's just one piece about how Chinese medicine addresses Lyme differently from a lot of other contemporary approaches. I hope this is helpful.
Sunny field of flowers seem better than your English class. So you and Lillian skipped right through that open door.